In the shadow of the great Qinling Mountains, where the mist clings to the ancient pines like a scholar's silk robe and the yellow earth meets the boundless sky, there once lived a man whose years numbered more than 50. In an age when the common laborer or the weary merchant often returned to the soil before their 40th winter, this master walked the mountain paths with the lightness of a mountain crane and the steady strength of an old cedar. People from across the Middle Kingdom traveled to his modest bamboo hut, crossing the swirling waters of the Wei River and braving the narrow passes, seeking the name of some rare herb or a secret elixir distilled from the morning dew. They expected a tonic of cinnabar or a potion of ground jade, yet the sage only offered them a bowl of clear spring water and a smile that held the stillness of a deep mountain lake. His secret was not found in the noisy markets of the capital, nor in the dusty scrolls of the court physicians who served the emperor. It was the art of Yang Sheng, the profound nurturing of the life force that flows through all things. This wisdom does not command one to add more to their life, but rather to remove the obstacles that prevent the soul from breathing. It is the path of the river, which does not struggle against the stone but finds the path of least resistance, eventually reaching the vastness of the great sea. To understand the secret of the centenarian, one must first look at the nature of a lamp. When we are born, the Great Dao bestows upon us a vessel filled with precious oil. This oil is what the ancients called Jing, the vital essence stored within the kidneys, the very foundation of our earthly existence. It is a finite gift, a treasure given but once. We do not create more of this oil. We only decide how quickly we shall burn the wick. The world of men, with its endless noise and frantic movement, often encourages us to turn the flame high, to illuminate the night with a brilliance that consumes the oil before the moon has finished its cycle. To nourish life is to protect this oil, ensuring the flame remains steady and calm, neither flickering in the wind of passion nor guttering out from the dampness of neglect. When the Jing is preserved, the body remains like a well-tempered blade of bronze, strong and flexible. When it is squandered through excess, the metal rusts and the edge dulls, leading to a premature return to the earth. The practice of Yang Sheng is the intelligent conservation of this essence. It is the realization that health is not something we chase with effort, but something we allow to remain by refusing to cast it away. Along the road of life, there are 3 bandits who seek to steal our precious oil, and if we are not vigilant, they will leave our lamp dry long before the sun sets. The first thief is the hunger of the eyes, the desire that knows no boundary. This is not the simple hunger for bread or the need for warmth, but the endless craving that pulls the heart away from contentment. It is the desire for more silk, more gold, and more praise from the mouths of strangers. As it is written in the ancient scrolls, no misfortune exceeds not knowing what is enough, and no fault surpasses the greed for gain. When we are never satisfied, our spirit is always traveling outward, away from the center, exhausting itself in the pursuit of shadows. To defeat this thief, one must learn the wisdom of the middle path. One should eat until the belly is 7 parts full, leaving 3 parts for the breath of heaven to circulate. One should rest before the limbs grow heavy with exhaustion. By recognizing the point of sufficiency, we maintain a reserve that serves as a shield against the storms of time. The second thief is the restless mind, a creature much like a monkey that leaps from branch to branch without a moment of peace. A mind that constantly churns, planning for the next harvest while the current one is still in the field, or lamenting the frost of a winter long past, burns through vital energy like a wildfire consuming dry wood. This constant mental noise creates a fog that obscures the Tao and drains the body's resources without producing a single grain of value. The masters of old developed ways to quiet this inner chaos, not through the force of the will, which only adds more fire to the fire, but through the gentle redirection of the gaze. They taught us to sit in the bamboo grove and observe the breath as one might watch the clouds drift over the Yangtze. These practices do not seek to battle thoughts, but simply to shift the focus from the act of thinking to the act of sensing. When the mind becomes still, the energy that was being wasted on worry returns to the organs, healing them from within. The third thief is the storm of the heart, the emotional turbulence that leaves the spirit battered and the body weakened. Anger that sears the liver like a hot iron, worry that knots the spleen like a tangled net, and grief that withers the lungs like the autumn wind. These emotions are natural, appearing like the rain or the thunder, but when they are held onto or amplified, they cause the vital energy to stagnate and rot. The solution is not the suppression of feeling, for a dammed river will eventually burst its banks. Instead, the sage allows emotions to arise, to reach their peak, and then to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. They appear, they intensify, and they disappear when we do not resist their presence or feed them with our stories. By allowing the heart to remain as open and vast as the sky, the weather of the emotions can pass through without leaving a scar upon the soul. Once the thieves are kept at bay, we may turn our attention to the 7 pillars of harmony that support a long and vibrant life. The first pillar is the alignment with the great cycle of the seasons. We are not separate from the earth. We are the earth expressing itself in human form. Our bodies follow the same rhythms as the mountains and the forests. During the winter, nature withdraws into itself. The animals hibernate in their burrows, and the trees pull their sap down into their roots, pausing their growth entirely. This is the season for conservation and deep rest. Yet, many people ignore the message of the frost and maintain the frantic activity of summer all year long, depleting their reserves by resisting the fundamental rhythm of the world. To practice Yang Sheng is to adjust one's life to the seasons, to sleep longer when the nights are cold, and to rise early when the peonies bloom in spring. By flowing with the seasons, we harness the power of the Dao itself. The second pillar is the moderation of the cauldron, which is the stomach. The ancients did not obsess over the types of grasses or grains they consumed, but rather over the manner in which they were received. They viewed the stomach as a sacred vessel where food is transformed into the golden energy of life. But this cauldron needs empty space to work its magic. If it is filled to the brim, the fire beneath it is smothered, and the food turns to dampness and toxins rather than vitality. The practice is simple and requires only the discipline of a calm mind. Eat slowly, chew each morsel until it is like water, and stop when the hunger has faded but the fullness has not yet become a burden. This single habit, maintained across the decades, protects the digestive fire and prevents the stagnation that leads to the decline of the body. The third pillar is the movement of the willow tree. Unlike the rigid oak that snaps in a gale, the willow bends and flows, allowing the wind to pass through its branches. So too should our movement be. The masters did not advocate for exhausting labor that leaves the breath ragged and the heart pounding like a drum of war. Instead, they practiced flowing movements that circulate the internal energy without depleting it. Tai Chi and the gentle arts of Qi Gong are like the winding of a silk thread, slow, continuous, and graceful. The goal is not the building of large muscles for show, but the clearing of the internal channels so that the life force may reach every corner of the body. When the energy flows freely, the blood follows. When the blood follows, the organs are nourished, and health emerges as naturally as the greening of the hills after a spring rain. The fourth pillar is the cultivation of the breath, the bridge that connects the seen and the unseen. Most people breathe only into the upper chest, a shallow and rapid habit born of haste and fear. This type of breathing signals to the body that a tiger is near, keeping the spirit in a state of constant alarm. The sage returns to the breathing of the infant, whose abdomen rises and falls with the rhythmic grace of the tides. This deep, abdominal breathing activates the restorative powers of the body, shifting the state of the being from defense to repair. There is a hidden method known as the embryonic breath, where the breathing becomes so subtle and quiet that a feather placed before the nose would not stir. In this state of profound stillness, the body receives life force directly from the great oneness, mimicking the peace of the child in the womb. The fifth pillar addresses the sacred essence of our nature, the energy of creation itself. The masters did not call for the rejection of life's pleasures, but they advocated for the intelligent conservation of the vital seed. They understood that the fire of desire is a powerful force that can either warm the house or burn it down. By learning to direct this energy inward and upward rather than allowing it to be scattered to the winds, the practitioner transforms raw desire into spiritual vitality. This is the art of internal alchemy, where the base lead of our instincts is refined into the gold of wisdom. For both men and women, this involves the regulation of the life cycles and the nurturing of the internal landscape through massage and focused intent, ensuring that the essence is used to nourish the person rather than being lost to the void. The sixth pillar is the return to emptiness through the practice of meditation. This is not a struggle to empty the mind of all thought, but a return to the state of wu-wei, or effortless being. It is the art of sitting quietly and doing absolutely nothing, allowing the world to turn and the grass to grow by itself. In this stillness, the body activates its hidden intelligence. The cells of the body, like weary travelers returning home, begin to repair themselves. The inflammation that plagues the joints and the heart begins to cool. Modern scholars now observe that such stillness protects the very threads of our life at a level the eye cannot see, slowing the passage of time within the body. When the mind is a mirror, reflecting the world without being stained by it, the spirit becomes immortal. The seventh pillar is the cultivation of virtue, for a heart full of bitterness can never host a healthy body. The ancients knew that our internal states are connected to our physical form through invisible threads. Compassion, humility, and acceptance create an internal harmony that manifests as vitality. Conversely, resentment, pride, and the constant resistance to what is create a friction that wears down the internal organs. Therefore, the art of nourishing life is not merely a physical exercise, but a complete way of existing in the world. To be kind to others is to be kind to one's own liver. To be at peace with the world is to be at peace with one's own heart. The legendary immortals of our history were not myths, but men and women who lived in such perfect unity with these principles that their days were long and their spirits were bright. Consider the tales of the great Sun Simiao, who lived to see 101 years during the glory of the Tang dynasty, a time when most men were old before their 30th summer. He did not seek the favor of the gods through sacrifice, but through the regulation of his daily life. He wrote that one should nourish life before disease manifests, rather than fighting the illness once it has taken root. His path was the path of prevention, the path of living simply and without excess. He spoke of regulating the diet, harmonizing the emotions, and moving with the grace of the clouds. These are not complicated secrets that require the wealth of a prince to obtain. They are returns to the natural state of being, the removal of the modern interferences that block our innate healing intelligence. In the world of men, we are often told to override the signals of the body. If we are tired, we take stimulants to keep moving. If we are in pain, we take herbs to dull the sensation. This is like a driver who whips a horse that is collapsing from thirst. The practice of Yang Sheng reverses this destructive pattern. It teaches us to listen when the body speaks in whispers so that it never has to scream. It is like the work of a gardener. A gardener does not force a peony to bloom by pulling on its petals. Instead, he provides the right soil, the proper amount of water, and the warmth of the sun. Then, he waits with patience and trust. Health is the natural result of creating the right conditions. It requires a steady hand and a long view, for the results of these practices are like the growth of a great tree, imperceptible from day to day, yet profound over the span of years. 10 minutes of deep breathing at the rising of the sun may seem like a small thing, but over a decade, it is thousands of hours of restoration for the spirit. Eating to 7 parts full may seem like a minor restraint, but over a lifetime, it prevents the 1,000 illnesses that arise from a burdened stomach. Walking through the bamboo grove daily may seem trivial, but it ensures that the vital energy never becomes a stagnant pond. The way of the Dao is the way of water. Water is the softest thing in the world, yet it can wear away the hardest stone. It does not argue. It does not force. It simply persists. By being soft and yielding, it becomes the most powerful force in nature. Here is what the life of one who nourishes their essence looks like. They rise with the first light, stretching their limbs like a cat waking from a nap. They drink a cup of warm tea and breathe the morning air into their belly for a few quiet moments. They perform their tasks with focus, but without the frantic desire for an outcome, taking rest when the mind wanders and eating their midday meal with gratitude and slowness. They do not seek to conquer the world, but to be at peace within it. When the sun sets, They avoid the stimulation of loud music or heavy spirits, choosing instead to sit in the twilight and watch the shadows grow long. They go to their bed when the first sign of drowsiness arrives, sleeping deeply and without the disturbance of dreams. This way of life is simple, almost too simple for the complicated minds of men to accept. They want a secret that is difficult to master or a medicine that is expensive to buy. But the truth is that the path to longevity runs directly counter to the ways of the world. The world says to do more. The Tao says to do what is necessary and then stop. The world says to consume. The Tao says to conserve. The beautiful paradox is that by doing less, we accomplish more. By forcing less, we achieve a state of grace where the world moves in our favor. We are no longer swimming against the current of the great river, but floating downstream with the ease of a fallen leaf. The sage preserves life by not exhausting it unnecessarily. This is the golden rule that underlies every breath and every movement. Do not exhaust your eyes by staring too long at the glittering things of the world. Do not exhaust your ears with the gossip of the marketplace. Do not exhaust your heart with the fires of passion. Instead, always keep something in reserve. Never push yourself to the point where the vessel is empty. This creates a resilience that allows you to bend without breaking when the storms of life arrive. You respond to challenges from a place of fullness, not from a place of depletion. Even as the centuries pass and the dynasties rise and fall, the wisdom of the tortoise remains true. The tortoise lives for 150 years because it is slow, patient, and breathes deeply. It does not hurry to its destination, for it knows that the journey itself is the goal. We can learn from the tortoise, just as we can learn from the trees and the mountains. Slow down your pace. Establish deep roots in the soil of your own being. Flow with the changing seasons and learn to bend when the wind blows. If you align yourself with the naturalness of the world will support you. Nourishing life is not about adding years to your existence, but about adding life to your years. It is about the quality of the light in your eyes and the strength of the peace in your heart. The ancient scrolls remind us that knowing when to stop prevents exhaustion, and knowing what is enough prevents the endless grasping that leads to sorrow. Apply this wisdom to every part of your day. Stop before you are tired. Eat before you are famished. Rest before you are broken. These small acts of mindfulness, maintained with the persistence of a falling drop of water, create a life that is long, vibrant, and in perfect harmony with the Great Dao. This is the secret of the ancient ones, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those with the stillness to see it.